Yeah, hello.
Ham!
Can you
I don't
see me?
see your video.
Hold on, let me try. How do I? Uh, okay, try now. Now?
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
beard, buddy.
Hey, thanks. Thanks. Likewise.
Nice. Okay, so I have to run downstairs to my studio. I am sitting in my kitchen, and I'll see you in a moment.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Why is it selected onto me as being whoever I'm talking to is who should. Ham, you talk. Say something.
I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm talking.
Okay,
I'm
great.
talking. I'm talking. I'm talking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey. Whoa! Look at those fake plants.
Oh, strange things in progress here, yes.
Cool.
I've been
Cool.
drawing on all of these leaves. That one says together forever. This one's an eyeball.
Whoa. Cool.
And let's see. This one says hello.
Huh. Wow.
And
Crazy.
this one is a beautiful sunset
Huh. That looks nice.
using the alla prima technique. Ah, yes, another beautiful sunset.
Wow.
So, do you have a kitty
Your cat?
cat?
No, that's coming
Oh,
from you.
it's my cat in the kitchen.
Yeah. I've
Well,
never heard your cat
Mona,
sound
shut
like.
up. She's confused. She's listening to it. She's like, what is going on? I love it. What are you doing, buddy?
I'm about to show you. These are paintings I'm making right now.
Wow.
There's the even older ones. And here's the copy of that one. And then this one that I'm making while I make this copy of that one.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel good about it.
Every
It's
painter
fun.
makes two paintings.
What's that? Yeah.
Every
I'm
painting
making.
makes two paintings. It
Well,
finishes a previous diptych and starts the next work.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
It's
I love that because it means you can never stop.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. It's
You're
never
not
ending.
able to
Although
stop because
with this I have
when you started the first one, it means that you then have another one to finish.
yeah. And it's also I like it that it's neutral. Like it doesn't much matter. Like I could like it or not like it, but it doesn't really matter. It's just more about working and being here and being open to responding to stuff. And I also have this is my finite supply of oil paints that I'm trying
Yeah.
to completely use up.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I have a supply of oil paints similarly that I got out of Marygrove. All of these are done in oil pastel, which I got this big bucket of oil pastels at Marygrove when
Wow.
they closed. And I was doing oil pastel with my students, my preschoolers, at the preschool on a Friday morning, I think. and we just had so much fun. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to use these.
Yeah.
And so I made this big collage piece here. I'll show you. I made this big collage piece here. So there's the one that we made previously.
Whoa.
And here's
Cool.
this like giant collage piece.
Huh.
And it's like collage and oil pastel. And it's
Whoa.
it's an image of Paris. So it says Paris de Midwest. And I cut out I like had a collection of these old posters like and Sika annual posters that they give out every year at this conference.
Huh.
And are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Huh. I'm
Not,
missing you.
Can
One
you
sec.
not see? I can't see you either.
Okay. Am I back?
You're back.
I'm back.
You're back. Am I
Okay,
back?
so yeah, I got this collection of posters, and I went through and I cut out all of the images that I remembered seeing before that were like somehow embedded in my ideas about what these things then look like. And I cut them out and I pasted them all over this thing, and then I started drawing on it in a similar way that I've been drawing on all of my work, and then these different like color fields just like opened up, and it's been really amazing process. The funny thing about these leaves is that the leaves they're already like printed as leaves. You know, I peeled them off of this fake plant here, and once they're all painted or pastel, I'll be like gluing them back on, so it'll be a whole tree of these paintings.
Wow. That sounds sweet.
But the leaves have this pattern on them, and so they kind of dictate the way that you can use the pastel on it, because the pastel is slightly transparent or translucent. So that other color comes through. And I don't have very much white, which is really the only color that is thick enough or dense enough to cover the leaf up entirely. So in that way, it kind of, all of it sort of carries the kind of energy and patterning that you kind of see in a leaf. They're kind of strikingly more psychedelic than I intended them to be, but the colors of the pastels are so bright, and you kind of end up having to play off of these leaf patterns, and next thing you know, they're very colorful and kind of electric in this way.
Yeah.
I
mean,
yeah, it's been super. I'm doing similar things on all my ceramics. Here, let me take you over to this installation. So this table, shit, I gotta unplug this. Like, I guess I don't need this on. Okay, one sec. Okay, so got this whole picnic table, and the plants go in these two planters in the middle. So they'll have these like colorful leaves that extend and, you know, from this thing. Can I flip the video around on this?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I can. Okay.
Whoa.
So
those look beautiful.
So here's like a picture, and I'm doing all these different layers of like China paint on top of the fired. So I do like a high fire, and then I'm doing China paint on top of that. I got this collection of old decals that I'm able to kind of build this imagery and layering up with. And then I'm sort of like almost like cloud gazing at the pieces and kind of seeing what is emerging between the China paint and the luster and the decal, and sort of finding like images and ideas out of that.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, all of it is very representative of like, I don't know, natural processes. I don't know. The actual imagery is pretty interesting. I've been pulling from like when I was a kid. I used to do all of these like maze drawings. Um, and I did this sort of thing where I was always trying to like do a one-line face, like,
Huh.
um, so can I do a face
Yeah.
that doesn't overlap? Oh, I get what's happening here. I've got the phone the wrong way. Um, was making it hard to point at what I wanted. So then, like, and my grandmother did all this cursive and calligraphy, and my other grandmother did these flower drawings on her paintings, and then I was sort of like blending together that sort of notion of like understand what it takes to understand an image or a word or a letter, um, and to sort of change the way that you actually write it or draw it into this like one line that doesn't overlap. That's kind of like a metaphor for the connectedness of all things.
Huh.
And
That sounds cool.
yeah, and so it's just become this like really organic, really exciting process. And then, like, I guess really I find that like in most ceramics historically, you're embedding everything is it, like a cup is sort of inherently abstract in terms of just thinking about form. Um,
Yeah.
and so like, and I always tried to like embed a certain amount of information into form and was kind of always sort of falling short on it. And like that's kind of what landed me at just writing my phone number on the pieces, because I was trying to sort of like explain myself. Like I did a bunch of pieces where I was like, this is a pot made by a human at this time on planet Earth, roughly this many years after the Big Bang that began the universe, and here's my uh, like in some way I hope that this object, whether or not it's in the recent coming future or long from there, long from now, or seen by some alien civilization or who knows what, that maybe there was like some section of humanity who was aware of the fact that, I don't know, that this whole sort of system of just making things and scrambling to survive and fitting into some sort of system of expectations, just sort of the absurdity of all of it. I think it's really amazing. I love doing what I do, but I also think it's like a lot of the times we're just trapped in our day-to-day motions,
Hmm.
It's hard to step out of it. So I don't know. I think that like a cup becomes an interesting place to start those conversations because it is such a meeting ground. Everyone
Yeah.
knows what a cup is. It's a fairly affordable object on the scale of like art objects.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone knows what to do with it. So I don't know. I'm sort of like, I guess I'm at a point right now where in graduate school I was really looking at all of this social practice and trying to understand the object within a social practice, and trying to embed all of my aspirations into like a single act of art making.
Yeah.
Whereas now that I am not living on a student loan and I'm teaching, a lot of that sort of social engagement is coming through a different form. And being my teaching and being this house that we're renovating and this artist residency that we're building. And I'm kind of coming to new terms with like sort of addressing what does your own work look like if I just made art, you know? And made pottery, because honestly, I need the money. And it's like, and pottery, this background that I'm embedded in, is historically it's a livelihood. A potter is someone who makes and sells pots to make a living. And so I was sort of wondering, is there any way that I can feel content, justified, challenged in an act of making pottery? And like, ceramics is so hot in the art world right now, but I don't really see functional pottery moving into that space.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
see like clay for, strictly for its like formal potential. And I think that its ties to the vessel through these like archetypal forms. I see a lot of that, but I really don't see it rooted at all in a narrative or practice of pottery making, whether it be contemporary or historical. And so, yeah, I've sort of wound up in an interesting position there. The plants are interesting, though, because I've always liked to make planters, but they're sort of unfinished by nature. They're like, you make an object to support the plant that goes in it. And I've always had plants, but they don't like, I can't sell them. Like, it's sort of a collaboration between me and this thing, and I spend this time growing that, and there's a whole art form of growing and displaying like bonsai, which I am connected to through Tom Fardell, and that's something that like has always interested me, but it's also something that I realize is its own craft in a way, which I'm not sort of qualified or practiced enough to present formally. And I just sort of had this realization. It was like, oh, fake plants. I'll just put fake plants in my planters. And it was like, oh, these leaves would be great to draw on, though. Like, it'd be awesome. So here I am doing my little preschooler move and drawing on these fake plant leaves and preparing for this like exhibition of this picnic table covered in objects. And I'm really excited about the actual things, like recently adopting new techniques of like layering glaze and luster and this collection of decals which sort of come out of a certain period. Like, so the word like ceramics, like my parents, if you would have said like ceramics to them, they would think of like my grandmother. She was a potter, but she got into it through like buying pre-made porcelain objects, which she would China paint on. And it was like very much this like women's communal activity that was big in the 50s and 60s.
Huh.
And yeah, so I've got this sort of connection to that, and I got all these like, and my other grandmother was a fashion designer, and a lot of her work sort of comes out of a similar imagery. And it's funny because I have this really personal connection to this imagery, but it also seems very representative of a really problematic time. It was like a time of great repression in American culture. And it's sort of like coming from this like Make America Great Again period or something like that, which is like, I think there's a lot of problems with romanticizing that kind of imagery. But I have this different relationship to it as it is like something that my relatives did, and which I kind of like, my practice is almost born out of that because my grandmother got into it through that. So I'm sort of like, and it gives this really weird depth to it. So I'm applying these images to the forms and I don't know, sort of collaging them along with like words and drawings in a way to make these, I don't know, these more sort of poetic uses of them, which is not purely sort of fetishizing the image and the object. But yeah, I'm just in an interesting place right now. A lot happening. Really busy.
That's cool. That's cool. That's great. It's like
what's going on in your studio?
What is going on? I can show you.
Yeah.
Although maybe I should comment on what you just showed me.
You can do that for sure.
Yeah, there's so many crossovers, and it's an undoubtedly a weird thing for your grandma to go through that time. But I feel like you're also in a completely different position from her, as you are. Well, maybe she did try and make a living doing pottery, but I would guess if it was knowing that date and time, that would not have been, she would not have been the person trying to support herself. She would have been married and had a husband that was like supporting her or something like that. But so I guess there are differences um, from the perspective, but I think art, yeah, I mean, it's funny how art gets relegated to like a feminine practice formerly, although I guess it's just in different circles. Like for a man to do crafts on the weekend or something, maybe that's more permissible now than it used to be. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. It's just interesting to think about.
I'm confused what you're saying.
Oh, I'm just kind of like thinking about you mentioning your grandma and how you're taking from your grandma, and it was a practice that was started by her. I think it's inherently different now what you're doing. You're using it as an influence, and I guess you're just simply commenting on the fucked up like period that she came out of where she was making that stuff, right?
Yeah, they're almost like these objects which in a way are intended they're absolutely intended to participate in this collection and celebration of things, like, but they
Yeah.
also pose questions about the I don't know, I'd say the issues that arise around the fetishization of objects, like
Yeah.
and of a kind of practice which puts um, just the object before all other context. And I guess I feel like for me, I'm at this place where all of a sudden I'm excited about the potential of just pushing my work to see where it will go, kind of following it where it leads me, and then letting venues arise for that, if but what's happened as a result is that I've made these things which are
I can't hear
larger
you.
and more complicated and more developed, and thus they're more expensive. And so I'm having to, and they are appealing now to more reputable or like, a celebrated venues. And at the same time, I find that really problematic in a way because one of the things I really love about pottery is its accessibility. But I constantly see potters compromising the creative aspects of their work in order to meet the sort of price point that they've already set, or that their chosen market operates in, as opposed to making the thing that they want, figuring out what it's worth, and getting it to a market that can facilitate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
like that the market
maybe
is
what you're getting at,
what they make.
Maybe what you're getting at is just the, the sheer fact that you are caught up in an economy and you have to figure out a way to pay the bills in such an economy, and that um, you know, is far less conducive towards thinking about what you actually want to do versus what you need to do to survive.
Right. And so, what are you willing to give up? And for me,
Yeah.
I think I might be willing to give up the accessibility of my work if that means that making it can support
Oh,
this
you're breaking.
residency and this school that I want to build. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's just
that is, and you,
it's an
I mean, I think you
interesting
pick
place
your,
to
I
say
think you
what?
pick your battles. I think you pick your battles too. I mean, it doesn't, just because in order to make the work that you want to make, you know, you throw out accessibility altogether. I just think there's certain times where you show in a venue that is maybe more takes more of an education to enter into an appreciation for what you're seeing, and then sometimes you make work for you know, for your kindergarten students,
Right.
or you know, you make work for a show for dogs. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it doesn't always have to be that way.
No,
But
I like it.
yeah, I mean, I also think that you know, or we are is as much as engaging to everyone, and to have that as a point. There's also a certain point where like, uh, you know, abstracting the world is something that does kind of get away from morality and ethics, and trying to keep that is important, I think, to a degree. But there's also another point where it's, you have to follow your nose, and your nose doesn't necessarily have a moral compass. I think it can stand back and question things in hindsight, but when we trap ourselves into the way that things have to be, I think that's, you know, at first, when we first make, and making isn't necessarily always putting work out there for others to see, but I think that that can lead to a shortened and like lopsided work. So,
Right.
anyway, it's a hard thing. And we do the best that we can, I think, too, and acknowledging later on everything that it entails, and trying to be at peace with that. But
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a hard thing.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we're also like, you know, engaged in a luxury economy. Like people
Well,
who,
sure, of course,
you
of
know,
course. That's
are going to buy a cup are obviously like going to have some, I mean, you're also in fucking like Detroit, which is a very poverty-stricken place. I mean, there's a lot that Detroit does not have. There's a lot that it does have, and a lot more that other places don't have at all. But one of those things I feel like is not like a collective social, uh, you know, economic situation that benefits everyone. So,
yeah.
which
I'm
is
not
hard.
sure that
I mean,
exists anywhere, but
I think some places it's stronger than others. But yeah, uh, in terms of like having a good public transit system, you know, or a fire department that will come and pick you up when you get hurt or when your house is on fire.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
It should be said that you have a
Detroit
specific
is.
relationship to that as you were working for the fire department here. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know. I
I
mean, it's
guess
a
for me,
hard,
like,
it's a
I guess
hard
I've been thinking a lot
thing to
about like
wrestle with,
John
at
Gill's
least for
work.
me.
My professor, John Gill, who I've told you about.
Oh,
You know, and
you're
he just
breaking,
like,
you're breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
You there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here. I hear you great. Do you not hear me?
Huh.
I'm gonna plug in. I'm gonna plug in
You're
my phone. Maybe
breaking
that'll
up.
fix it. Am I back? Am I better?
You're here? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think my
Okay,
phone was getting
cool.
low on battery. Do you hear me?
Oh, I see.
I hear you, Ham.
Hey, check out what I'm doing in the studio. Yeah. So
I don't
this
see
is
you,
what
Hamilton.
a few things.
I don't see you
One
right now. Your
is
video's not
this
showing
bicycle
up.
frame. Can you see me now?
Your video's not showing up, Ham. Oh, there it is.
I don't know what to do.
You're in. You're
You
good.
can't see anything? I'm good?
I
okay.
see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm currently taking my old bicycle frame, which died from all the salt and all the riding over the years, and I'm grinding it down into dust.
What are you grinding it to?
What am I grinding it into?
Yeah, are you just totally grinding it into dust?
I am. Yeah, just straight up into dust. There's a thought of making something with dust, like making, like an axe head or something, or making a hammer or a doorstop. And I could make those things. There's another thought of like making it into bullets and then
What?
off in a final salute to my bike.
Oh.
Which I feel like hesitant about making like bullets because I think the world has enough weapons in them, but I don't know. I mean, there's also a thought.
I think the issue with bullets beyond that is that may be very dangerous for you to make bullets. Perhaps you could get like a musket. Well, I wouldn't
make them. I would have a bullet maker.
Make like musket bullets, which would just be like round balls.
Yeah. Huh.
You could make a small cannon.
They have bullet.
You could build a cannon.
They have bullet makers. Yeah. I mean, it's on that same note as the, as the rocket idea, putting something into space.
Right.
But I also made this recently. Hold on 1 second. I guess you there?
Yeah.
So this bench that I paint on, and I noticed I would like get up when I was painting.
Yeah.
And it would make this very beautiful little noise because there's just a little bit of leeway on the floor. And I really liked the noise. And so I attached this this pair of scissors to a hand fan and then glued it to my chair. And then I did this.
Oh, I just lost your video.
So it's very hard to see, but it makes this very subtle shaking. Do you see that?
No. The stool is shaking? It's a shaking stool?
Yeah. It just shakes.
Hello?
Hi,
Ham.
You there?
Yes. Hello? I was briefly interrupted with a phone call.
Yes. So, I don't know. I think there's part of me that's interested in this idea.
What idea? This idea of what? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, man.
Ham, you're breaking
Henry,
up.
I don't like talking on this phone.
Why not?
This does not feel good.
No?
It feels too disconcerted. You there?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
I mean, it's hard to, you will break up from time to time and I will break up. And I guess if I'm going to talk, I just shouldn't make anything as I do it.
I've always felt
much
that
harder than
our Sunday painting is made difficult by actually painting.
Yeah, like even there, that broke up. And yeah, I would much rather just talk on the phone.
Okay. Do you want to just end this little chat?
Yeah, let's do that.
Hey, it was a really nice studio visit, Ham.
Yeah, I wish the reception was better. Sorry, bud.
Well, I hear you well now. Should we just keep talking for a minute?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I want to, I don't know. I don't want to describe works like this because I feel like it's just, I don't know. I don't like that. Or it puts a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, I mean, nothing. I mean, what, you just don't want to talk about what you're going through with the piece? Does it feel vulnerable?
I can't hear you right now either.
I was saying, does it just feel vulnerable? Okay, Ham, I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you on the phone in just a moment. Bye.
Okay, cool. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. So did you not hear most of what I said?